So you're looking for a brand to partner with that checks off all the boxes: amplifiers, subwoofers, high fidelity speakers, maybe even some DSP. Well, look no further than our feature brand today in Audison. Yes, that Italian brand that is known for sound quality and innovation throughout its history. This is CMA Networks presented by SiriusXM, all about Audison. And it starts now. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another CMA Networks presentation brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and today we're going to be focusing on a brand that's loved by many and cherished for its innovation and technology, and that is, of course, Audison. Today, we've got Justin Bond in the studio with us today. Justin, what are we going to be covering today with all the amazing products that Audison currently offers?
Hey, Ben. Yeah, really excited to be here. Today, we're going to cover a little bit about Audison's history and what makes the brand and who they are, as well as we're going to go through our lineup of amplifiers and speakers and subwoofers and even preloaded enclosures. And then we'll touch a little bit on our DSP. We have many segments on our DSP, so we're not going to dive too heavy into that. But I have no doubt, but by the end of this show, that you will have a thorough understanding of what it means to be associated with Audison.
Well, Justin, I'm excited because I know Audison always has some new stuff to show and some pretty innovative stuff, in fact. But before that, we're going to give our opportunity to SiriusXM, our big sponsor, to talk to you dealers and remind you why you love it. When we get back, let's get into Audison.
Hey guys, Ricky Lima here from SiriusXM. I had a chance to speak to some dealers and ask them what they love about selling SiriusXM. Here's what they had to say.
Coast-to-coast coverage.
I love SiriusXM for commercial-free music.
It's a great add-on sale and a profit opportunity.
We love selling SiriusXM because you can listen to the same channel coast to coast.
Profitability and ease of installation. It's a no-brainer.
We love selling SiriusXM for its ease of installation, great profitability, and reliability. People love it.
All right, welcome back. Now, Justin, to set the stage, as we say, dealers have probably heard about Audison. I mean, this is not a new brand. It's been around for a long time, a brand from Italy, a European brand that has a lot of innovation packed into all the products that they have come up with. But if you were to break it down for those who need to understand who Audison is and what their placement is in the industry, how would you describe that?
Hey, Ben. Well, as you know, Audison is an Italian company. Some of the finest products in the world come out of Italy. Audison itself, in the name, comes together from the fusion of two Latin words: audio, meaning to listen, and sonos, meaning sound. All right. Audison is known for innovative technologies, superior sound quality, and attention to detail. Through our highest end thesis line, all the way down to our Prima OEM integrations, we use the same style of technologies, know-how, and ideology through all of our speakers.
So, Justin, why don't you take the time to kind of share with us a couple momentous key elements that make Audison's history so rich and innovative so that the dealers tuning in really get an appreciation for what this company has actually achieved?
Well, Ben, the company was founded in 1979. It's located in Piacenza, Potenza, Italy. In 1982, we released our first high current bridged amplifier. In 1988 was our first electronic crossover and the beginning of our SR amplifiers, which are still around today. And we sold over 300,000 pieces until 1994, where they were redesigned again. We won our first EISA award in 2004 and 5 with the Thesis Venti, or the thing that we have dubbed the Amplifier. And since then, that amplifier remains to be the landmark in high-end audiophile amplification. Obviously, in 2009, we released the Bit 1, which was in the front runner of digital signal processors for the world. It's still a processor that we sell today. So when you think about it, that's what, 14 years ago? So 14 years ago, we released a DSP that is still current and used today. And then obviously our most recent innovation, our Forza DSP amplifiers with our new BitDrive software. We won another EISA award for that, for the best in-car premium upgrade. Audison has so much DNA in its technology and in its products, and it continues to push the boundaries in conventional car audio. We continue to fight stuff that the OEM does and correct it and make it so that it's usable and ability to be defeated on the dealer side of things, as well as delivering the best of the best in terms of sound quality and value.
So, Justin, we now have a better understanding of the history that Audison has within car audio. So it's time we get into some gear. And I suggest we start at the top with amplifiers. So when it comes to the amplifier offering from Audison, what is currently on the menu?
Well, Ben, we started in amplifiers, so it's only fitting. So right now we have 3 lines of standalone amplifiers. We have Thesis, we have Voce, and we have our SR amplifier. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on our Thesis lineup because we're going to save that for a future audiophile podcast. But effectively, the Thesis project is the perfection and synergy between technique and emotion. It is dedicated to the most demanding audiophiles, and it's distinguished by the absolute lack of compromise when it comes to the quality of components used in the amplifiers and the technology implemented in it. We have an amp that we call the TH Venti. Now, the TH Venti is by all means defined as the amplifier, meaning that this amp is pretty much as good as it gets. The technology that's implemented in this doesn't exist anywhere else. The build quality is second to none, and it really is something special, right? They're born from the know-how of technology and audio and digital audio. So going down from TH Venti, we have 3 other amplifiers in our Thesis lines. We have the TH Uno, which is a 1500 RMS at 2 ohm or staggering 2300 RMS at 1 ohm mono. We have our TH Due, which is our 2-channel amplifier, obviously. So it's 2 by 500 at 2 or 2 by 750 at 1, and it can be bridged down to 1500 RMS at 2 ohm. And then we have our Quattro. So obviously Quattro meaning 4. Our TH Quattro is a 4-channel or 4 by 260 RMS at 2 ohms or 4 by 340 RMS at 1 ohms. Now this amplifier is unique because it can be run as a 4, 3, or 2-channel mode. Now, all of our Thesis amplifiers are full DA 24-bit 96K ready. They're all high resolution certified, and they all include an adjustable bias with 4 modes. So they have an energy saving mode, a high current mode, a high AB class mode, and a full A class mode. So depending on the sound or the system requirements or the charging system in the vehicle, we make it so that these amazing flagship amplifiers can be integrated into any vehicle, okay? From there, we step down to its baby brothers. Our baby brother is the Voce line. So Voce means voice. So Voce was developed to give the attainable hi-fi sound without the Thesis price tag. Much like the Thesis, we have an AV Uno, an AV Due, and an AV Quattro, just like the Thesis. But the unique parts in this line is we have what we call as our AV 5.1K. So this amplifier is not new by any means, but I feel like it doesn't get the credit that it deserves. It's pretty special. So this is a 1650 RMS maximum amplifier. We have 5 channels and a hybrid design in this amplifier. All right, this is the specialist amplifier. This is the perfect amplifier for running a set of fronts, rears, subwoofer, or a multi-amplified front and a subwoofer. This amplifier is high quality Class AB output. It provides 2 channels with 250 RMS combined, and then 2 other channels of pure A-class audio at 75 RMS. So the output configuration is staggered. So in the event that you are running an active system with tweeters and woofers, this is a perfect solution. And then on the rear end of this amplifier, we have our Class D output section. So our Class D will provide up to 1,000 RMS on a subwoofer channel, making this amp really quite powerful and quite fantastic, especially for any sort of front active rear subwoofer configuration. All right, the AV 5.1 is a Class A, Class AB, and Class D hybrid amplifier all in one channel, or chassis, sorry. It is high-res audio certified. It has automatic remote turn on, selectable crossovers, as well as 4 LEDs on the front to let you know if there's any errors such as shorting, thermal protection, etc. Now, we do offer this amplifier in what's known as the AV 5.1K HD. So the only difference between that and the regular 5.1K is that the HD has a digital input only. So you would use what's kind of like our Ethernet network, or what we call AD or AC link, to drive the signal into that. So you're getting pure, unadulterated, digital, uncompressed signal and high resolution. The Voce amplifiers are really the culmination of the technology in the highest of highest end meets price-friendly bang for buck amplifiers. But make no mistake, they are Class AV and they are not small. They are a larger amplifier, but it's needed to dissipate the heat and to increase the efficiency of the amplifiers.
Now, I'm not one to complain when we're talking about high-end audiophile type stuff like we just described, like in the Thesis amplifier lineup. But for the everyday customers, the ones that are coming in looking for that, enriched sound, that higher end sound, but not necessarily maybe at that Thesis line, I think there's a lineup in there that Audison absolutely can deliver.
You're absolutely right, Ben. And we're talking about our SR amplifiers. So our SR amplifiers feature some of the most advanced Class D technology on the market today. They have a sophisticated design, and it makes it very easy to integrate and place inside vehicles today. All right, so when we talk about our Class D technology, or Audison Class D, typically in the past, everyone has regarded a Class D amplifier as noisy or maybe not sounding the best. Well, what we have done with Audison Class D is we move the noise that's induced by the switching frequency outside of the audible spectrum. So to do this, we have to use higher quality parts, as well as double the amount that most standard Class D amplifiers use. So with that, we get the results of a much more natural sounding Class AB-like amplifier in a Class D footprint and chassis. All right, so the amp that we're going to talk about today is the Audison SR 5.600. All right, so our SR 5.600 5-channel is 115 RMS by 4 and 550 RMS at 1 ohms, or sorry, at 2 ohms. All right, it features USS. What is USS? USS is our built-in universal speaker simulator. All right, which means that this amplifier by itself will be able to combat any sort of resistance-based speaker simulation or speaker check that occurs in the vehicle when you're integrating with the OEM system. We also feature our ART, which is our automatic remote turn-on. So if you're high-leveling with the included high-level Molex connectors, you'll be able to do it. We also include ferrules inside the bag for crimping your power and ground wire. All right, we have a remote in and a remote on this amplifier, and we have a pre-out section as well, should you need to daisy chain through other amplifiers. So when you look at this 5-channel amplifier, in sheer power versus size and features, it really does make it a no-brainer. And you can be sure in knowing that all the technology that we implement in our Thesis and our Vente has gone down into our OEM style integration Class D amplifiers. Like I said, we have some of the best sounding Class D amplifiers on the market. And we do that with technology and features, just like our Audison Class D, our USS, our ART, and the other features.
Well, the next topic we're going to get into is what I feel Audison has truly carved out a space within the market, and that is speakers. You've mentioned already that Audison controls their own manufacturing. So let's discover the different levels of speaker offering that Audison currently has.
Well, then, as you could probably guess, we have 3 lines of speakers. So first off, we have our Thesis. Thesis speakers were born with the ambiguous goal of giving voice to the pure musical message of our Thesis electronics. It simply was the search for the best acoustic result, and it's strictly based on overcoming the intrinsic limits of traditional loudspeakers. We got 3 speakers in the Thesis lineup and 3 kits. So we have a 3-inch, a TH Voce. We have a 1.5-inch, the TH Violino, so that's obviously our tweeter, and we have a 6.5, which is our TH Sax. And then all 3 of the kits are K3 Orchestra, which is an active 3-way, our K2A Coro to stand for active, and our K2P Coro are comprised of certain variations of this speaker. I could spend an hour, 2 hours talking about the technology that goes behind a thesis speaker. But one of the biggest things to remember is that everything in a thesis speaker is specifically designed and manufactured for a thesis speaker. Okay, there's not a single off-the-shelf part on a thesis speaker, because everything is developed to be the best of the best, the most efficient, and the absolute correct optimized part for that speaker. Then, dropping down from our thesis line, we get to our Voce line. So Voce has been around for a while. Voce is essentially the culmination or synergy between technology and materials. Now, in our Voce line, we have our AV 3.0, which is our 3-inch mid-range, as well as our AV 1.1, excuse me, which is our tweeter, our AV K6, which is our 6-inch mid-bass driver, or the kit, one coax, which is our AVX 6.5, and our AV K6, which is our component kit. Now, we use plenty of technologies that we have developed throughout other lines, such as in our tweeter, we use a Tedalon dome, which is a coated silk membrane. We use neomagnets, so it's very high efficiency for detailed sound. And then in that tweeter, the AV 1.1, we actually use what we call as our rear damping chamber. So with that and the material that we use, it extends the frequency response of that tweeter to a lot lower limits and reduces the harmonic distortion from it. Then when you pair that with the AV6, which is our 6.5, you get an aerodynamic basket, you get a carbon fiber pressed paper treated cone, you get radial venting for cooling, you get what we call as our triple wave surround, all right, and it's made out of a butyl. Now the reason that we do that is because this driver is 125 RMS. It can take some serious jam, and with our triple wave surround, it allows us to have high excursion and low enough frequencies in that driver and maintain full linearity of the cone movement throughout the motor. And then obviously from that, we have our one coaxial, which incorporates literally the same technologies that you've seen in the AV 1.1 or the 6.5. From there, down from Voce, we get to our Prima line. Now, Prima line is really where I want to focus today, Ben, because I think there's a lot going on in Prima that a lot of people don't know. All right. So for us, Prima was designed to meet the interest of the car model enthusiast and to convey musical message, get the best sounds while being integrated perfectly in the OEM car environment. So the goal of it was also to preserve the most precious of requirements when it comes to OEM integration, which is space. All right. So our Prima speakers are extremely shallow and they have amazing sensitivity and makes them the optimal choice for the standard speaker replacement with a factory head unit or with a little bit of light amplification, right? This is also the line where we have the absolute most offering in the speakers, okay? We have everything from independent 6.5s to tweeters to a 2-inch wideband, which we'll cover, down to a 6x9 woofer, all the speakers through the line. So the very first Prima speaker that I want to talk to you about today is our AP2MV. Our AP2MV is a wide frequency response speaker. So the frequency response on the speaker ranges from 150 hertz all the way up to 20K, right? So effectively, the entire virtual stage of the vehicle is going to be concentrated on the top side of the dashboard. We use a 1-inch double-layer voice coil for excellent power handling and low frequency extension, as well as an aluminum cone and copper shorting ring for high-quality control all the way up to the 20K. We use symmetric double neodymium magnets for optimal excursion and power handling and efficiency. All right, so the specific design and basket of this speaker is designed to facilitate dashboard and A-pillar OEM installations. The other very unique thing about this, Ben, is we provide an adapter for direct OEM replacement in many General Motors, Toyotas, and, believe it or not, Mercedes vehicles. All right, so when we get to those new GMs or those new Dodge Rams that have that wideband style speaker, we make one hell of a good speaker to replace it. Right? Then you go ahead and you take them and you pair them with our AP690. That's the driver that you see right there in front of you. All right, the AP690, we use a high density flux ferrite magnet. We use a treated paper cone, as well as a 25 millimeter pure copper voice coil. It has high power handling and an outstanding low frequency control. We use the same size TPU triple wave suspension for maximum excursion. Now, what you need to also remember is even though this is our budget-friendly OEM integration line, all of our speakers are still developed using FEM software and optimized with Clipple, meaning that the same quality that you come to expect from all of the Audison products trickles all the way down into these speakers. The other benefit of these speakers is we use our high-quality, quick-to-connect speaker terminals on the back, just to make sure that everything is easy and simple when it comes into installing in an OEM. The next speaker set that I want to talk about is our APK 165 2-ohm. All right, so this consists of obviously two speakers, our AP1, which is our tweeter, and our AP 6.5 2. All right, so first thing, let's talk about the tweeter. Our tweeter has an acoustic lens designed to balance the frequency response. All right, what that means is that in the 10 to 13K range, we optimize its acoustic emission for OEM placement. All right, so we don't always have the option to move the tweeters around when we put them in a car, but using this tweeter in a Prima with supplied brackets or the magnitude of mounting accessories, we have tuned the tweeter to give you the best sound, resulting in the placement location. We also include an inline crossover that has direct connect wires on the end to make sure that there's no issues or reverse polarity when installing it. All right. The next up is our driver. Our driver has a 2-ohm impedance. All right. It is designed fully to exploit the 65 RMS per channel of our AP 8.9-bit amplifier if you're using it. We have a 75 hertz resonant frequency to extend the frequency down to low frequencies, and almost up to 50 hertz to increase the SPL in the low range. We use a 25 millimeter voice coil on this bad boy, and this 2-ohm speaker has a efficiency of 95 dB. Okay. We have a 10 millimeter winding height mobile voice coil to increase maximum linear excursion, and to minimize distortion, even at high listening levels. Okay, the Prima speaker really is a speaker designed to be bolted into the car in the OEM factory location and to give you absolutely everything possible in volume and sound quality of an OEM system. All right, we are the perfect upgrade when it comes to that. And one thing that we don't talk about lots is we actually make vehicle specific mounting hardware. So we have, if you go to our website, we have a speaker kit configurator that will absolutely tell you if you're working on a Toyota, a Ford, or a BMW, we do make a drop-in style replacement speaker for that. So much like direct fit everywhere else, we've been doing this for a very long time. However, we supply a separate bracket, so you're not including or double stacking your inventory with a vehicle-specific speaker rather than having a Prima speaker with an OEM bracket.
Now, last but not least, we got to take care of the low frequencies, Justin. So we talked about amplifiers, we talked about speakers. What does Audison currently offer when it comes to subwoofers?
Well, Ben, it's all about the bass, really, isn't it? We have a couple unique offerings when it comes to subwoofer and subwoofer systems with Audison, and they all fall into our Prima line. All right, so currently we have 4 raw woofers in our Prima line. We have 2 8s and 2 10s. So one thing I want you to notice about our Prima woofers is if I take it and I stand it on the side here, you'll see that the woofer itself really does have a shallow style dimension. Now, these woofers weren't designed to be a shallow or thin woofer. They were designed to be an OEM suitable addition and to not take up a ton of space. But the output of these woofers has nothing to do with the shallow. They deliver on all aspects. So our woofers feature air vents on the side, so no vented pole piece. Obviously, that's important so that it can be mounted directly to the back of an enclosure for optimal space saving. We use a flux ferrite FEM developed motor structure, once again optimized with Klippel, right, to get us the reliability and the power handling that's required. Okay, we include our steel mesh grill with every subwoofer, so that's not an extra cost to you as a dealer. And the other thing that's pretty amazing is if you look at the cone, even it's pressed the shape on the grill, you'll see it's a very unique cone design. The reason that we do that is it allows us to get the excursion that we need of almost 9 millimeters one way on the 8 and 11 millimeters one way on the 10, while keeping that reduced footprint of the woofer. It really does make the Prima woofers high output, very well delivering, and space saving. So we have what we call as our APS 8D, which is a 8-inch dual 4-ohm 500 RMS peak power subwoofer. It's designed for compact volumes, so 0.26 to 0.3 liters. All of our woofers have push connectors for ease of wiring configurations, and they've been developed, like I said, for a primary goal: deliver high output in tight spaces. We have the equivalent 8-inch woofer, APS 8R, which is the same specs. It's just a single 4-ohm, and it's designed for a 0.3 liter reflex enclosure. So we have a woofer specifically designed for a ported enclosure. From there, we have our APS 10D, which is 800 watts peak, 400 RMS, 250 millimeter or 10-inch dual 4-ohm voice coil that fits in about 0.35 to 0.42 of a cube, and our APS 10 S4S, which is the other version of the 10SD, only single 4 for seal. All right, so we incorporate the same technologies in all 4 of the woofers, meaning that they have reduced footprint and great output, as well as being exceptionally sounding. But what I really want to talk about is our preloaded enclosures. We have a plethora of preloaded enclosures. So we have 6 different preloaded enclosures. All right, we have 2 passives in the 8, 2 passives in a 10, an active 8-inch enclosure, and an active 10-inch enclosure. All of our sub-enclosures have our 2S2 design, all right, meaning they can be mounted up firing or down firing depending on the bass response or vehicle gain that happens inside the car. They all include our smart sub plugs for easy removal. And if it's the active system, it will have its proprietary 3-inch power ground accessory plug as well. We all have leveling feet with grip lock, round corners, and the boxes are an ultra low profile. All right, so our 10-inch box is about 5.3 inches high without the feet, or 6 inches with the feet attached. All right, the box that you see on your screen right now is the APBX 10AS2. So like I said, it's 5.3 inches thick without the feet. It's 400 RMS continuous with a Class D amplifier built in. It features our Helite technology, which is high efficiency and low impedance. All right, so it doesn't have a switching power supply, so it gives us the best amount of performance per current draw that we can. It has our input stage DBT or dynamic bass tracking. So this allows us to use 100% of the amplifier power to enjoy the same dynamic bass, even at very high listening volumes, without inducing distortion or clipping. All right, we have a defeatable filter on this box should you choose to use it with an amplifier DSP, as well as phase control of 0 to 180 degrees. We have high-level audio input with a multi-pin connector for maximum OEM integration, as well as low-level RCA for aftermarket sources. All right, we feature our AR turn-on function or automatic remote turn-on, and it's also selectable, so it can be defeated. This woofer is exceptional. It delivers on all aspects of a get it and go woofer. All right, we use rounded corners and reinforced structure, as well as a fill inside to reduce enclosure resonances. And then one thing that you're going to know, we include our HRC AP remote control with this, as well as a sturdy metal grill. This amp, as far as preloaded active enclosures go in a woofer, is, in my opinion, one of the best ones out there, especially for the dollar value that it seeks. And it delivers on all aspects. The bass output and the response of this woofer is absolutely phenomenal. If I could urge you to grab one thing as a dealer right now, if you were unsure or you had never experienced Audison, it would be to go out, contact the folks at Automobility, and to get yourself an APBX 10AS2 and play it. And I promise you, I guarantee you, you will be blown away by the value, the output, and the sound of that subwoofer enclosure.
Yeah, I got to say, those enclosures look pretty sweet and really feature-packed for what they are in a very compact package. Now, quickly, we're going to touch on this a little bit, Justin, and it's probably an elephant in the room because obviously when you think about Audison, you're also thinking about DSP. But like you mentioned, we've got a whole other session planned out to go deep on DSP. But for now, just give us the Coles notes as far as what dealers need to know in the DSP category.
Yes, Ben. DSP is a thing of ours. In 2008, we presented the Bit 1. The Bit 1 effectively changed car audio forever. We introduced a couple key technologies that we still implement today, such as source de-equalization, automatic input sensitivity, making it perfect for integrating with OEM systems. Since then, we've gone on to develop a full range of digital signal processor. Currently, we have the Bit 1 HD Virtuoso, which is a 12-channel in, 13-channel output flagship DSP. We have our Bit 1.1, which is still around, which is 8 in, 8 out. We have our Bit Nove, which is 6 in, 9 out. And we have our Bit 10, which is 4 in and 5 out. Recently, we debuted a new product called AF Forza, which features a new software called BitDrive. Now, through the years, we've had award-winning amplifier DSPs within the Prima line, the AP 8.9, the APF 8.9 bit. But now we've upped our game with the new Forza stuff. So with new BitDrive tech, the ability to combat phase problems, as well as see real-time RTA acoustical measurements electrically and acoustically in the vehicle, we're taking this thing to a whole nother level. I cannot wait for the viewers to tune in when we get into the DSP sections of these and talk about the meat and potatoes. And one of the things that obviously Audison is so famous for. But we have you covered. The biggest thing is with Audison, we make it all.
And that was the man himself, Justin Bond, coming in to talk to us about Audison today. If you're interested in finding out more details of anything Audison makes throughout all the categories that they do produce, I encourage you to check out their website at Audison. And if you're a Canadian dealer tuning in, then it's pretty obvious. Get a hold of Automobility, for they are, in fact, the exclusive Canadian distributor for all things Audison. My takeaway from this session is simple. Audison is one of those brands that is built on innovation, and through the years they've proven it time and time again with award-winning technologies and products, and continue to evolve with the market as the technology changes. No more, you don't have to look any further than the latest introduction of the AF Forza, and as Justin had mentioned, the DSP continues to be important, but also integrating into vehicles is important. And I think between the Prima line of speakers as well as the enclosures that they are offering today, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a better solution for those jobs that are just coming in every day looking for things that fit and sound phenomenal. That's it for the CMA Network's presentation, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM with over 150 channels in your vehicle. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.